Yeah, look, mate, he'll go to Melbourne tomorrow for some further tests on Friday. But look, all the symptoms have been great. It's just a precaution, make sure that we're ticking that box off and make sure Matty's right to come back. And we thought, while he's got some downtime, let's make sure we're doing it right.
For a bit of revenge tomorrow night?
Yeah, well, it's not really revenge. It's just getting back on track. You know, I was pretty disappointed in how we approached the game at the start, and we came out flat, and it really carried on. We did a great job to get back in the game when we weren't playing well, and you give the opposition a chance to win, and they did that with the last shot of the game.
You confident the boys can bounce back?
Well, it's a sign of a good team if you bounce back after a bad performance, so we get a chance to do that tomorrow night.
It's a club that's always prided itself on home form, the Wildcats. Is there that extra bit of determination coming off a home defeat to really put a good performance in front of the fans?
Yeah, hopefully it put some noses out of joint with the guys. We were disappointed. You do your review, you try to take the scoreboard out of it and make sure you're playing at that consistent level, and we certainly weren't playing that. We got back into it. It was a struggle through the game. Hopefully we can get back to playing Wildcats basketball.
What's been the main focus of training this week, Trevor?
Really our communication, making sure we got each other's back. I thought that was a part that we let down. And probably the distractions that were happening. A couple of outside, we just got to control what we can control. If we get a couple of bad calls, we've got to keep going forward on that, and that's something about mental toughness that we've been building.
Just having Melbourne twice in quick succession with that game in the middle, is there a danger of looking ahead? Do you need to be really focused on taking it one at a time this week?
Well, that's what the coaches were for, just to remind the guys that let's get this back on track. It's not, the guys have a tendency sometimes to look forward, but we certainly have this week. We know Cairns are a very good team. They've got a great amount of talent on their roster, and when they got us New Year's Eve up in Cairns, so we know we've got our hands full.
What do you see as their main strength, Joe?
Well, the three-point shooting's been outstanding. McCammy really lit us up last time, and then you got their shooters. Stevie Way was dropping them, Glinton was dropping them, so their three-point line has to be defended well, and we've got to do a good job of that.
Just with Matty, is there a time of the season when it just becomes too disruptive to bring him back underdone in the lead up to finals?
No, look, he's an all-star first-team guy. It's been a credit to our team to play at the level without Matty in the centre. I think we've dropped 2 or 3 games without Matt, and one's been in overtime, one's been on the buzzer, and the guys have really stepped up in his absence, and we can't wait to get him back on board.
Is there the prospect, though, that given consecutive head knocks and whatnot, that he might have to miss the rest of the season just as a precaution?
I think it's very doubtful. We've ticked all the boxes, and he's come up roses with the results. It's not something that's an ongoing, but we just want to make sure while he's out.
Through your eyes, given the way you started this season, the boys in a bit of a slump at the moment, is that what you call it?
Look, you lose one game in overtime and you lose one on the buzzer, and that's going to happen throughout the course. There's good teams playing, and like I said, without Matty in there in the centre, the guys are really stepping up. Jesse's doing a fantastic job playing out of position in that 5. So but we're getting back to playing Wildcat basketball. It's 40 minutes of getting after it, and I don't think we did that last week.
That deadline for Jimmy to go home is coming up. Have you heard one way or the other from Miami yet?
I haven't heard anything at all, so no news is good news. That's all right. I might turn my phone off.
Nick Marvin talking a bit about the treatment that Jimmy's been copping this year. Have you, as a coach, sort of set out anything for your players to help try and protect him?
Well, look, we got to carry. We can't control what the referees call. We got to control what we can control, and it's hard enough coaching the teams that I'm coaching the referees. So I'll leave that up to the powers to be to control that. We just got to go out and play consistent basketball, and hopefully that when there's a foul meant to be called, it's called. And Jimmy's gets a lot of attention, averaging 22 points in the league, and a lot of teams build their whole game around stopping him playing. So we got to be mindful of that as well.
Does that open up other areas for you guys then to expose other teams that they're focusing on him?
Shh! Don't tell anybody. Look, that's why we've got a number of scorers on the team. Sean can light it up. Jermaine can light it up. So we've got a number of scorers in there and quite capable and fill the stats sheet.
Just back on James, obviously it's late January now, so you would have thought that Miami would have at least given you an indication if they wanted him back with a bit of warning. So that's looking pretty good.
Look, they going back to day one, they wanted to place him overseas for a year. They didn't want to bring him back, otherwise he would have played in the D League. So I would be more than surprised if the phone call comes saying they're wanting him back. They've got long-term future with him, and I think next year is a prime time for that.
Yeah, and as a coach, how exciting is it to have someone of his calibre in your ranks that you can mould?
I'm excited when we win, but look, he's a great entertainment. He's got that bit of showtime and gets in the crowd. He gets us going, gets the crowd going, and it's certainly infectious out there. So hopefully we'll get another time for that tomorrow night.